Marjorie Taylor Greene, a far-right congresswoman, has caused a wave of controversy with her recent headline-grabbing visit to a Washington, D.C. jail. Greene and a congressional delegation, consisting of fellow extremist Republicans, visited inmates who were charged in the 2021 January 6 insurrection at the U.S. Capitol and, despite their status as alleged violent insurrectionists, championed them as political prisoners. And the January 6 attack on the Capitol was inspired by a lie from the former president, Donald Trump, that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from him and the defendants being imprisoned has been reframed into a campaign of martyrdom by the far right. Greene, who has been behind the most outspoken efforts to reframe the accusations, was joined by members of the House Oversight Committee, both Republicans and Democrats. The purpose of the 2-hour tour was to both hold the Republican peers to account and to assess the prisoners' conditions. Tensions rose as the prisoners chanted an offensive phrase denigrating Democratic President Joe Biden upon the delegation's departure. Before entering, Democrat Robert Garcia had stated that the purpose was to prevent the Republican extremist from painting lies about the attackers and their attempt to overthrow democracy. Garcia later commented on the tour to MSNBC, stating that Greene and the other delegates had been treating the prisoners as if they were celebrities. He also noted that the prisoners were housed in a newer part of the jail, with relative luxury compared to other state lockups. In addition to the controversy of Greene and her congressional delegation's visit, the inmates have become the centerpiece of a crowdfunding drive by the founder of conspiracy theory outlet Gateway Pundit, Jim Hoft. His website, American Gulag, describes the rioters as good Americans whose only crime was being invited into a political building. It has so far raised almost $180,000. To add to the outrage of the Democratic Party is the fact that Donald Trump hosted a rally for his possible 2024 campaign and later released a song sung by the inmates, known as the J6 Prison Choir, to the top of the iTunes chart. The song seemingly supports the idea that the inmates are martyrs of the far-right cause. Democrats are now trying their best to restore the gravity of the situation and to bring attention to the motives of January 6ers. They hope to combat the perception of the inmates being seen as heroes or celebrities rather than for what they originally stood for. With the help of investigations from Just Security, it has been found that there are 20 Capitol attack inmates being detained in the D.C. jail. 17 have been charged with violence against law enforcement and the other 3 are members of extremist militias or have already been convicted. This controversy surrounding Marjorie Taylor Greene has created a focal point for the U.S. culture wars. Though the Republicans champion the inmates for their far-right agenda, Democrats are actively trying to bring attention to the gravity of the situation and standing up for the democratic values at stake. It is these ideals that we must remember in the face of the January 6ers' attempt to overthrow democracy.